Most men lose respect the moment they open their mouth. Why is that? It's because they ramble, they hesitate, and they talk around the point. But powerful men, they speak with clarity, with direction and conviction because they know exactly who they are and they know exactly what they stand for. Hey guys, it's Brendan, and in this video we're going to talk about how you can start speaking better, how you can start leading better, how you can communicate better. Communication is key. And so the first point here is clarity equals power. Now, I used to get so nervous, and I see this all the time when people do get nervous, they talk a lot, which they just ramble and makes no sense. I used to do that all the time, especially if I was meeting someone new. If I was a little bit nervous and anxious, then I would just start rambling and making no sense at all, but just speaking words because then it sounded like I knew what I was talking about. Or I'd do the complete opposite, and I had a time where I wouldn't talk to anyone, and I'd sit there and not being able to say any words, and because of that nervousness and anxiousness, I didn't say anything. It was just like freeze. So I was kind of in a fear response, and it was like I'd either be speaking too much or I'd shut down and freeze and not say anything. And I had a really hard time connecting with people. I had a really hard time trying to meet new people, and there's a time there where I was like, well, I'm never going to meet someone because I'm too nervous to even talk to them. And I thought I needed 10 shots of Dutch courage to communicate, but I probably just made me even less clearer with what I was saying, probably rambled more, and it just wasn't working for me. So having this clarity about what you want to say and trying to get your point across as quickly and as easy as you can makes a massive difference. There's a book, How to Get Your Point Across in 30 Seconds or Less. It's a really good book for being clear and direct with what you say. And so what I learned after reflecting on that is if your message isn't clear, people won't trust it, or they won't trust you either. So start thinking before you speak and know your outcome. Having one clear sentence is more powerful than 10 messy ones. And so it's okay to pause just before you answer a question. So someone might ask you something, you don't have to try and fire back straight away. Take a moment or two to reflect and go, okay, well, how do I want to answer this question? And you could just give like a one-liner or one sentence back, and it's going to be so much more beneficial than trying to say something and make it up along the way, which a lot of people just use filler words, and it just gets distracted, and people are like, well, it's just kind of going around the point, and then you might find something to say and it's no good after that. So it's really important to focus and just practice on getting your point across super quickly and super clearly in as short amount of time as possible. Now, if you're in a conversation and you don't, then reflect on that afterwards and say, okay, so everything's just a lesson, right? The only mistake is the one that we don't learn from. So reflect back on that lesson that you had and write down, what would I have said instead? And then if you do that every single time, your awareness is going to increase, and so the next time you're in a conversation, you're going to go, hey, this is one of those opportunities that I got to speak clearly, because you've been training yourself to do it. So it's not going to happen overnight, and it just takes a little bit of time, but the better you do it, the more clearer you're going to become with what you speak, and so many people are going to respect you, trust you, you're going to be able to communicate better, you're going to be able to get what you want and help others get what they want. Life's just going to be so much better. Now, Robin Sharma said, clarity precedes mastery. So if you want to be a master, if you want to be great, you need to have clarity. And that leads me to point number 2, be direct, not harsh. When I first started this into really self-developing myself, I was getting trained by a guy called Garrett J. White, who is very on the masculine side of things, very direct, like super, super direct, almost to the point of it can come across quite harsh. And so because I was surrounding myself with him, then I started doing that. I can remember saying some things to people that was just like, it was just like kicking them in the nuts. Like, it was crazy. Some of the things I would say, I'd be like, that's just a harsh thing to say. Like, I thought I was being direct with them, but I was actually like fully just pulling them down and judging them and having a go at them, what I thought was being direct. So there's a very fine line between being harsh and being direct. Now, most people, they don't even want to be direct or harsh, and so they just say something very small. They don't want to hurt the other person's feeling. Sometimes truth hurts. Sometimes the truth can be painful, but sometimes it's what people need. You know, something that I've got much better at and I'm fully comfortable with it now is calling people out on shit. Like, especially as I coach them and help them, I want to lift them to a higher standard. So I'll be like, hey, that's not how it happens. You know, you do this instead, do this instead, do this instead, or this is what you're doing. You know, and I'll be like full okay with it, because I also do that to myself. I allow myself to pull myself up on things and be like, you know what, I should have done different there. And so I'll write those things down and I'll learn from all of those things. And so focus on being direct and allow yourself to have that direct contact and direct communication. And what I learned from going through that is that when I was very harsh on people, people didn't really respect me. But when I was direct and having direct communication, people then would respect me. Direct communication earns respect. So stop over explaining. Say what needs to be said with certainty and not with apology. Don't say sorry, but this. Just go, this is what needs to happen, or this is the thing that's happening. Be direct with it, with certainty. Men who speak with purpose don't seek permission. They command attention. They don't go, oh, can I give you some feedback, or can I do this? Like, it's okay to ask like that, but also just be like, you know what? Like, this is just what needs to happen. Be direct, not harsh, but be direct. Now, Brian Tracy said, being clear is more important than being kind. Think about that for a second. Being clear is more important than being kind. Example I like to use is you see pilots in the air traffic controller. The air traffic controller might be seeing the plane that's coming down too fast or too low or whatever they say, I don't really know. But he won't go, hey, hope you're having a good day. You're coming in a bit low, do you mind just coming up a little bit higher? Or you're coming in a bit quick, do you want to slow down a little bit? They don't say that. They just go, you're coming in too quick, slow up, or something along those lines. As I said, I don't know, but this is just what I would imagine they'd be saying. They just give direct commands. It's not harsh, it's just direct. But because we live in a world where so many people take things so personally, they're like, oh, that means they don't like me and all these things. So you just got to understand, and I always say, I say this with love and then just say it. So then people understand that, you know, what I'm saying is with love, and it's because I want to help them, but it's direct. And I don't necessarily have a go with them, or have a go at them. I just say what needs to be said. And so being clear is much more important than being kind. Now that leads me to point number 3. An unshakable voice comes from the inner work. I first started on my entrepreneur journey and I went over to the States to do this course and this like mastery event for 7 days. And I was like, well, I first started doing this work and I was starting to feel better. I'd read all these books and I was like, it was my first really exposure into be something different, you know? And so I was like, this is gonna be a chance for me to be the new me, to show how much more confident I am, how much more present I am, how much I've worked on myself, how much better my communication is. And so I went over there thinking that I was gonna be a new me, but I wasn't. And I felt even more nervous. And I can remember like at the end of the day, like I didn't want to hang around and talk with anyone. I just wanted to go. And it wasn't necessarily because I didn't want to be there, but it was more because I hadn't changed really. Like I thought I had, but who I was internally hadn't really changed that much. Like I hadn't changed my identity. I'd learned so much and I'd built a lot of daily habits, which had got me to where I was, and I wasn't in the point of time where I didn't want to be here on this earth anymore. I'd built myself up to that. But it was before I started studying the mind and reprogramming my mind and being able to learn and train and help so many men that we do now with all of the tools and techniques and technologies and frameworks that I've learned. And then that was like a big catalyst for me to go, you know what, I still need to do so much more. What I learned from all of that is that it just comes from the inner work. How you speak, how you show up, how you communicate, your tone, your presence is a reflection of your internal state. So the more grounded that you can stay, the more grounded you can be inside of yourself and more certain inside of yourself, the more your voice carries, the more it's heard by others and more it portrays leadership. My voice, the more work I do on myself, the stronger my voice is. I feel like I speak from my stomach now and not my throat. I used to always get a sore throat after speaking for too long, but now I can feel it coming from my belly. And it's just from continuing doing the work, whether that's practicing speaking, whether that's reprogramming my mind, whether that is doing exercises, doing trainings, going to events, pushing myself in the discomfort. It's all about doing that, and it's all about mastering your emotions, and your words will follow, because in communication, there's so many emotional things that are going on which then affect how we speak. But if we work through a lot of the emotions, we then speak better as well. Now, Rumi said, your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek to find all of the answers and the barriers within yourself that you have built up against it. So what that means is the thing that we seek, right? Whether it be love or whether it be respect or the things that we want in our life, we have built a barrier to that. And so it's not about us trying to seek the thing that we want. We need to seek and find the answers to let go of that barrier that we've built up against receiving those things. And so that could be communication wise. It could be our presence. It could be our respect or our leadership. It could be the love, or it could be anything that we seek. We just need to work through the limitations, because I always say that we don't create abundance in life, we create limitations. So it's our job just to let go of the limitations. And so in a previous video, I gave you a tool called the Empowerment Grid. I think it was the last video. So go back and watch that video, and that gives you the tools on how to rewire your mind and to do the inner work that's going to make a massive difference in your life. And so the world doesn't need more noise. It's got so much noise. It needs more men who speak with strength, who speak with purpose, and who speak with presence. Be clear, be direct, and be unshakable, and your rest of your life will change so much. And it starts from those 3 points that I just spoke about before. So go back through them if you need to, get clear on them, and work towards them. So let me know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was from this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Remember, I got your back for life. If there's anything I can do, let me know. Drop in the comments, or reach me on social media, or contact me somehow if I can do anything for you. But otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. You made it to the end of the video, and you are one of the top 1%ers who get to this point. Now, if you're sick and tired of not growing to the level that you want, if you're sick and tired of being the same spot that you were 12 months ago, if you're like, you know what, I've got so much more to offer, but I don't really know how to get there, then if that is you, down below, book in your call with one of my team. Just enter your phone, enter your email, and enter your number. And hey, look, we can't reach you if you enter details that are wrong. So enter your right details. We'll be able to reach out to you. We'll show you the 4 stages that we take men through that's going to completely rip you out of your current situation and push you in a new direction that where you want to go. I will push you as hard as I can to get that outcome for you, because I know how much the life is good on the other side of it when we get out of the shit, when we get onto where we want to go. So click the button, and I'll see you on the other side.